Hi, I'm Danny Fleming.
And Marcus Collins from MA Properties with another Sellers Masterclass.
Selling strategies, advanced selling strategies.
Is this month's
masterclass.
topics.
Yes.
Indeed.
So, thank you for joining us. We are live streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll see what we can do about getting to them during the session. So let's get going. Why do we do these? Smart moves are made here. Well, we do these because buying and selling is too important to leave to chance. It's too important to let every decision be guided by emotions and first impressions alone. So we have a motto within the team: education, not sales. Education, not sales. That's educating consumers out there and not hard sell. That's not who we are. So this is why we run these monthly masterclasses on various different topics all through the year, actually. Mm-hmm. So this one's
second one already.
Yeah.
Second one already. It's only February.
So this one's our Advanced Selling Strategies Masterclass. Now, this is making the assumption that you have already attended or seen well, I don't want to say a basic one, but one that goes into more in depth about the different processes involved and things like this. This is giving more techniques, more strategies on the stuff that we normally can't cover in the monthly ones. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied already. Okay, let's get going.
All right, get going. Agenda. What is the agenda?
We talk about, as part of our basic, our normal agendas, we talk about the 5 keys to maximize sale price: smart decisions, preparation, staging, marketing, and excellence through teamwork. As I mentioned, we're going to give a few more advanced techniques that we in each of these different categories. So, but these are the basics of them. You can find past recordings of a 5 keys to maximize your sales price masterclass. It's on our website under blogs. So this advanced one is going to be compounding, is going to be adding to what we normally do.
Right.
Okay, so what do we mean by smart decisions? So it's easy to, I'll let you do this. He's looking at me.
I was just saying, I'm a spectator.
By the way, just in case you don't know, Marcus and I are married. So, you know, if I tell him to be quiet, I'm allowed to.
There we go. Right, so shall I carry on?
Yes, you
All right,
can.
smart decisions. So it's relatively easy to get information and data today. I mean, there's a lot out there, but it's a lot more difficult to make sense of what's going on. And so what our job here is to really do the hard job of kind of getting that information, synthesizing it, and giving you the analysis. Tonight we're doing the masterclass where we talk about the 5 keys. What we also do, though, is a market review, where we look in depth at what happened in 2021, and based on that we look a little further back than that back the last 10 years, to kind of get some trends, what's happening in the market, focusing on 2021, and then of course what everybody really cares about is what's going to happen in 2022 in terms of predictions for both buyers and sellers. So we have those for a number of different towns. Yep. Go to our website under the blog, you will see them there. We've done them this year. We've done it for Lexington, Arlington, Waltham, and Winchester. Yep. And we'll add more as the following month goes along. Important to do them now so you can get a sense of what's happening.
What happened last year?
Right, well. Exactly. So that's all there. If you really want to, are interested in a town, there's one that we haven't covered. So we've done 4 so far this year. We'll do more. Reach out to Danny's, her email address is there. Tell us which town you're interested in. We'll pull the data together. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll do this for that live stream. If you really have some detailed questions around a town, then feel free to reach out to us too, because we can bore you with the details when it comes to
We like talking about stats. We like talking about stats. And we do a market review booklet that has just been delivered.
Here,
You didn't bring it down?
I have last year's actually,
okay.
yes. So we just delivered. Yeah.
So we do them for Lexington and Arlington, and they've just been delivered to every household just in the last couple of days. So we're pleased about that. They finally got there. And we have all of that sort of data on our website. So, but we go in depth during these market review and predictions masterclasses.
Because as we see it, it's really critical to know the kind of the big questions to ask and to know what's happening. That's the kind of key. What's happening and why it's happening. What are the big macro trends? And unsurprisingly, as you can imagine, today we're kind of the tail end of COVID, changing user requirements, but also some demographic or seller requirements, buyer requirements. So there's a lot going on in terms of why it's happening. And the reason we do this is kind of to give you that kind of trust in terms of we understand exactly what's going on in the market, giving you that confidence if you're thinking of buying or selling, because there's clearly a lot of uncertainty within that.
Yep.
Because unsurprisingly, what you do or don't know clearly is going to impact your sale. And actually, just as an example, just as an example, I did the Waltham market review last night. The average sale price to list price ratio, if you want the details, go to the seminar, 103 in the town. And I was just thinking back to just two properties that we sold just in the recent last few months. One the week before, one a little bit before that on the same street. We got well over 120% sale price to list price. So, there's a lot going on there, but there's a lot to understand. And really what this is about how you become one of those that gets to the 120 as opposed to the 103, which is the average for the town. Anyway, so who are today's buyers? So let's take a little look at some demographics because we're interested in who are today's buyers because that's you are the other consumer. You have a product that you want the consumer, that is the buyers, to go and buy and fall in love with and offer top dollar for. And so it's important we understand who those buyers are. So the big trends and the trends we were talking about pre-COVID was really around some demographic changes. This is a population pyramid. It's from the latest census. It's how many people are in which age bracket. So males and females, as you can see there.
Blue is the males.
And red, I should say red is the females. Two areas that we're really interested in. If you kind of look at the shape of the edge of that pyramid, two areas that we're interested in. The higher yellow bar are the downsizers, people thinking about retirement, the baby boomers, if you will, thinking about retirement. Now they're thinking of downsizing, selling their existing, perhaps a larger home, moving to a smaller, more affordable home. Okay, that's one driver in the market. The lower bar there is the first-time home buyers, the millennials. Where they're looking to jump out of those rentals into the housing market, looking for affordable homes. And when you think about some of the towns close into Boston, like Arlington, Somerville for that matter, those kind of towns, relatively affordable in comparison to Belmont, Lexington and Winchester, these two groups look at those towns as very popular. Make those towns very popular. And so just as an example, back to that ratio we always talk about, the average sale price to list price ratio, the average in Arlington was 109%, which is very high, very, very high. But
it's also worth mentioning, those first-time home buyers that you're talking about, the affordable homes. We bought a home on the market 2 weeks ago in Waltham, but one of our agents, Wen-Jen, and she had 49 offers on that home.
That's huge, right? That's huge.
That's 48 buyers who are serious buyers making offers on homes that are unsuccessful. So that's what happens with, the affordable, those affordable priced homes. There is so much demand for them, and they're the people in that bottom yellow.
Bottom or the downsizers looking to move into the town.
Yeah.
That's the big trend that we see. Interesting to quick look at interest rates. I mean, there's a lot of talk around interest rates. The blue bars here are historical interest rates, and the green ones are the predictions. take them a little bit with a grain of salt. The predictions, we've been tracking this for a while and tracking the predictions for a while. They're not that accurate. The financial analysts don't necessarily get it right. But I think the trend is kind of there. And if you look at even at what they're predicting at the end of 2022 here, less than 4%, so at 3.7%. That's a very low number when you look at where it's been historically. So a lot of talk around interest rates and the impact that's going to have. But I thought it would be important to put this in because as you can see, it really isn't that much of an impact, specifically because they're so low. So those are kind of two of the factors. I would throw a third one in, which is affecting some towns very strongly and sometimes not so strongly. And that is changing user requirements, changing buyer requirements. If you think about the changes that have gone on because of COVID, perhaps the commute is less important. It's interesting. It means further out towns become even more popular. Perhaps people want a little bit more space. They need another office at home, which they didn't need previously. Maybe they want some space in the yard. All of that is beginning to play out, I should say, right now in terms of these buyer requirements. And that's why the example you gave of the house in Waltham, an awful lot of buyers are out right now looking to move into a different home because it meets their requirements today, whereas those requirements were different than they were 2 years ago.
Yep.
And that still has a way to play out. Some towns are beginning to get back to normal. Winchester, for example, beginning to get back to that normal seasonality. Not quite, but we kind of can see it happening. But many towns are still being, the example of Waltham here, being highly impacted by that large number of buyers, really as a consequence of the kind of the end, the tail end, if you will, of what happened with the pandemic. We're kind of seeing that play out. So.
Yeah, because I mean, the pandemic has changed what buyers are looking for. Not buyers, what homeowners are looking for. The mass migration that's happening across the country, the impact we're seeing with condominium purchases. But it's also that there's been such high demand for homes. Not every buyer who wants to move has been successful. So that's going to continue to play out for at least the next 6 to 8 to 9 to 12 months, crystal ball time, but we are seeing huge demand now still.
That's for sure. Yeah, maybe even longer sometimes too.
Yeah. And
what you say about condominiums is kind of interesting. As you look at the 2021 data for single family and for condominiums, and almost irrespective of which town you look at, you do see a favoring of single family over condominiums, even though in general condominiums are lower priced and therefore they have a larger buyer pool. They're just not as popular looking at those key metrics, days on the market, sale price, list price ratio, and that. Much lower in many cases than we see for single families. So that's kind of something which is, say that kind of tail end of this. We didn't necessarily see that previously because of that lower price point, it drew in more buyers, and now buyers are thinking, do I look at a condominium close into Boston, or do I look at a single family further out because the commute's not as important to me, as an example.
So I just need to point out, Marcus always gives me a hard time for
talking
going
too much?
off traffic.
I didn't. I think that was
Yep.
on topic. There were today's buyers. It's on topic. I was on topic. I was. Okay, now so. All right, timing a buy and a sell. So this is, the inevitable question that every seller has, not necessarily buyers, but a seller. I'd really like to move to a new home, but how do I time that buy of my new home, be it people moving up the housing ladder, if you will, to a larger home, or sellers moving, downsizing to a more affordable or a smaller home? It doesn't really matter. How do I time that buy and a sell? So let me just touch on, I'm going to go through this quite quickly. I would say there's a lot of detail to this, and everybody's situation is just that little bit unique. I'll give you some kind of broad brush, some of the approaches that we use, but if you are worried about this, and many sellers are, of course, it really is a case of, okay, now let's have a conversation, if you like.
Yeah.
What is your individual situation? Which of these works? How do we tailor them to meet your requirements and so on? Anyway, so First thing to look at is seasonality.
And this is, oh yeah.
2021 data.
I was going to say this is old data.
No, it's not. We updated it. We updated it for, because we're beginning to get back to that.
Yeah.
2020 was gone, this graph looks very strange.
Yeah.
But what you see here with those kind of orange bar, the blue bars, I should say, are how many homes are listed per month. That's what the blue bars are. And so the orange overlay there is the two seasons that we talk about, the spring market and the fall market. And as you can see, the number of homes that come on the market were relatively low in January, and in some cases low in February because of the weather. It's been cold. We've had some snow this year. We haven't seen that many homes coming on the market as more than we've seen previously. But then it begins to pick up as we get into March and April and May, the peak times. You see a dip in that May there. This is 2021 data, which kind of the seasonality is a little bit off kilter. August traditionally is quite slow, primarily because many buyers want to buy to get in a time frame to get their children to the school system. So that kind of mid-July, we're about 6 weeks to the start of the school year, that's a time when they really do want to be under agreement, have a home under agreement so they can close before the start of the school year and get their children into the school year at the end of August. And then there's that kind of a little short, not that high fall market, September, October, and then it kind of drops off. So thinking about buying and selling, in an ideal world, when is the best time to buy and the best time to sell? So best time to buy is when there are lots of homes on the market. And as you look at that graph, that's April, include May in this, April, May, June really, kind of the late spring, early summer market when there are more homes on the market. Now, conversely, when's the best time, in an ideal world, to sell? Well, the best time to sell is when the buyers are out, but there aren't that many homes being listed. And that's February, March timeframe.
Even January, if it's a mild winter.
If it's mild.
If it's a mild winter, the buyers are out in force.
Well, just the example, give that example of Waltham House again.
That was 2 weeks ago. That was the beginning of Feb. But we were bringing homes on the market in January as well because the buyers were out. But not many homes on the market.
Right,
So
and the buyers are out, back to the last section, the buyers are out because there are so many buyers that were unsuccessful in 2020. One, now still out looking in 2022, and as the kind of the houses come on the market, they're right back into it. There's no, well, I'm thinking of buying this year. No, actually, they were thinking of buying last year, and they're still thinking of buying this year. So that's kind of the situation. That's where the seasonality kicks in. So in an ideal world, sell February or March, buy May or June. That would be an ideal world, but more to it than that, of course. So a couple of things to think about. There are lots of different scenarios. Do you have somewhere to move to already? We can bring your home on the market, of course, then at the optimal time to maximize your sell price. Can you buy without needing to sell? But you may prefer not to own two homes, but if you had to, you could. Or do you need to sell in order to buy? That is, we need to kind of coincide the buy of your new home with the sell of your existing home. So there are lots of different questions and different scenarios. Let me kind of rattle through a couple of graphics to give you a sense of how to think about this. So imagine you have somewhere to move to. I should explain, looking at these timelines, the top timeline is the buy timeline, the bottom buy timeline is the sell timeline. So that's how we've kind of done this. So if you have somewhere to move to, you can clearly buy first, do your closing. Perhaps you've done it, good time to buy, of course, is in November, December. Maybe you've been successful to buy then because there aren't that many sellers are thinking about carrying the home over the winter. So there's, in many cases, perhaps even some bargains. Maybe that's too strong a word.
No,
really.
that's too strong.
Too strong a word, really. It's a better time to buy. But then, you get your home bought. You're good. You move in. Everything's happy, and then you can now begin to think about timing, home preparations. Home on the market and closing. To maximize that sale price. So that's kind of the idea of what you see in the graphs here, and I'll rattle through the rest because there's lots of details.
Yeah.
You need to buy without needing to sell. You would like to coincide the closings, but you don't necessarily have to. So you might get an accepted offer first, thinking about what we talked about before, might get that accepted offer first and then put your home on the market, again, to maximize your sale price. The more common situation really is where you need to buy and sell and kind of coincide those two. You can't necessarily buy without having sold your home, so you need to coincide the two. One option is to buy with a home sale contingency. Quite difficult to do in this market.
Yeah.
In a strong market. If you're moving to if you're in a weaker market, then you can do this. We haven't seen home sale contingencies very much over the last few years. It's just the market in certainly Greater Boston is just too strong to do that. Another option is ask for a long closing. So you might
to sell first.
Sell first.
Sell first.
Ask for a long closing. So sell in that January or February timeframe, but ask for a closing that might be in June or July. Thinking about today's buyers, they've been looking in 2021. They really would like to put something under agreement in 2022. If you can have something on the market in that February or March timeframe, the buyers are happy to buy it, because if for no other reason, they don't have to go to open house after open house after open house.
And they will give you what time frame you want for closing. So we specify that in MLS. We'd say sellers would prefer to close end of July, and we might be in February. The buyers would prefer not to, but they will, because if they're competing against other buyers who are out there, they know those other buyers are going to be giving the sellers what they want. So they want the house. So they will give you what you want in that scenario. So then you know that, you can buy happily by knowing that you've got your home under agreement. So that's now, if you haven't found anything to bought though, there is one risk to this method, because if you haven't bought something by the time that you're closing on your home, you're still moving out of your home. So that then plays into potentially renting right near the end. So some sellers don't like that risk profile.
Yep. And it becomes more and more difficult the shorter and shorter the time interval between you're selling your home, getting an accepted offer on your home, and actually closing. The smaller that interval is, the more stressful it becomes, and that's why you really do want a long closing. There are some financial tricks as well. There's potentially a bridge loan there. That is where you bought first. You haven't quite closed on your existing home, so you can get some bridge financing. So that's kind of the different strategies that there are. There are a lot more in terms of how you can let this play out as well. But we wanted to give you a quick overview of, we've thought these through. And they are there. The devil is clearly in the detail in terms of timing, which town you're moving to, and so on. And so we just wanted to give you a quick overview of what that's about. As I say, if you really still have questions, and almost inevitably you will, reach out to us and we can
we can go through them.
We can go through that.
Absolutely.
So,
pricing strategy. Okay, I had a question about this today, actually, when someone asked, how do we determine what the listing price is compared to the sale price? So I need to sort of try and tease out where and how that question came about and the difference with that. So just keep that in mind, and we'll get to that near the end. You'll have to remind me.
I won't forget.
Okay.
I never forget.
So one of the key things that you need with the pricing strategy, first off, you need to know what is the market value of your home. So you need a detailed and accurate market analysis, not just an agent, I think it's worth X. That's not the way to do it. It's not educating you about the market, and it's not educating, helping you make a smart decision. If you don't know how much your home's market value is, pretty difficult to come up with the right price. But it is you that decides the price. It's not the agent who decides the price, it's you. So part of that is that the experience of your agent is key, really important, because if the agent doesn't know the market, doesn't, because every town is different. I would be hard pressed to tell someone what the market value of their home is in Situate, because I'm not really sure what is going on with the market an hour and a half away from where I live or where I work. So the experience of your agent is really key. Mind you, we could pull the stats and we could tell you what's going on at the town.
We could.
But there are two options with the pricing strategy. You can realistically price or you can overprice. Now, when I say realistically price, we're not talking about underpricing. Most agents, if to have any credibility, an agent doesn't know to the dollar how much a house will sell for. So if an agent is telling you to the dollar how much a house would sell for, their credibility is shot. Just like if an agent's telling you to the dollar or a range of how much your house would sell for in 2023, their credibility is shot, because nobody can predict those types of things. You've got to work on the prior three months worth of data. So typically you would get a market value range in your market analysis. Realistically, pricing is more likely to be priced at the bottom end of that range, because especially when you're in a really, really busy market, really, really strong sellers market that we've got now, in that market analysis, a lot of the homes that are in that market value range where your home is, they started on the market a lot less than that market value range, and competition took them into that market value range, and might be listed there, took it into there. That's where those prices, I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, you need to price at the bottom of that market value range to try and not mitigate the thing, but the competition that has taken that home into that price range needs to be factored in. If you came on the market there, those houses that sold in that price range would not have gotten that price. Oh, I need to get off this because I'm not explaining it very well. Sometimes it flows well, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, but the recommendation is not to overprice. Now, let's have a look at some data here. Now, this is the comparison of the sale price to list price ratio from 2020 and 2021 in one town. Now, again, 100% sale price to list price ratio is when a house comes on the market for $1 million and sells for $1 million. 2020, this town, 49% of the homes sold for below the asking price, 51% sold for over the asking price. Fantastic. That same town in 2021, strong market, is 28% sold for less than the asking price and 72% sold for over the asking price. Now, there's even in a hugely strong market where this particular town, its average sale price to list price ratio was 106%. Yep. 106%. 106% was the average. Still, 28% of the homes that came on the market sold for below the asking price, and only 72% sold for over. But even with a hugely strong market, there's still almost a third of the homes that came on the market didn't even sell for asking price. So why is that? Well, the buyers know when a home is priced right. They know where, because they've been going week after week after week to open houses. They've been making offers on homes. They're seeing homes week after week after week. They know when something's come on overpriced. And what happens when a home comes on overpriced is the trend line. The longer the home is on the market, the trend line for the price of that home that it will attain gets lower and lower and lower. The highest price you can get for a home, and you can see this 100% here, the highest price you can get for a home is in the first week that it's on the market. After the week, people start coming in and sort of think, what's wrong with this house? Why hasn't anyone else bought it? I like it, but nobody else is buying it at this price. There's something wrong with the house that I haven't spotted. Okay, I better not make an offer on the house. Or the longer it's on the market, they know that the market is really strong, the buyers, and they sort of think, wow, how much lower can I buy this house for? I just need to point out, there's a couple of outliers here where the homes were on the market for a long period of time, but they still sold for over the asking price. They were new construction, where the buyers paid to have, say, the basement finished or something that wasn't included in the original price. So just forget about those two. But this is real data, as I say. But the longer you're on the market, the lower the sale price to list price ratio goes. So it's key. I can't stress this enough. It's key to price correctly, price realistically when you first come on the market. Don't test the market, because that is, the longer you're on the market, the lower you're going to get for the home. When you realistically price, we're talking about just coming on the market, not overpriced, but in that market value range that your agent has given you in the market analysis. So what happens then? Well, the home comes on the market and the buyers look at it and think, oh, look at this, look at this, look at the price of this. Oh, we need to get out and see it. We need to get out and see it. And they see lots of buyers in the home, or their agent is trying to make an appointment to go and see the home, and guess what? The appointment, there's other, trying to find a time slot in there for their agent to get in. It shows that the house is busy. We have an app that I believe we have a blog post on it, but we have a listing dashboard for our sellers. And it's real-time information that when your home is on the market, you can see as a seller how many people are viewing the 3D tour, or how many people are viewing the website, or the floor plan, or the video. You can get to see real-time what activity is happening on your home. And because we've been doing this for a while, we've got a pretty good understanding of what sort of metrics are like to indicate offers on a home when we're seeing a good amount of activity. If we're seeing 40 plus views of the 3D tour on the first 2 days the home's on the market, and that typically correlates to 20 plus private showings of the home in the 4 or 5 days it's on the market, and when we see that, we see at least 2 offers on the home. So you'll know as your home's on the market, oh, this is good. We're going to get offers on Tuesday. And that's okay, I can start calming down now. I can start not worrying so much. And part of this is setting an offer deadline. You know, we always say for our houses, we'll review offers at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. The buyers know this, the agents know this. Everyone's aware that at Tuesday at 10 a.m. or whatever time is set within in MLS, the agent has set, they know that if they don't make an offer, if they love the home, they like the price, they can see themselves living there, if they don't make an offer at 10 a.m., they're going to miss out on the house. So it really creates that buzz and gets activity on the home. So realistically price, if we've got multiple offers, we typically see better terms than you would if you overprice. So what I mean by better terms, if a buyer is competing against another buyer and there's more than 4 or 5 offers on the home, more than likely at least 75% of the offers will come in with no inspection contingency. Because they know that there's a lot of people competing for the home. I need to try and make my terms a little bit better. If you've got over 5 offers, we often see 25 to 50% of them also dropping the mortgage contingency. Now, dropping a mortgage contingency is not saying it's a cash offer. It's just that the buyer is not making their offer contingent on getting a mortgage. They're feeling comfortable with their mortgage. They're feeling comfortable that they can get the financing. They're just not making the offer contingent on a mortgage. So if you've got multiple offers, competing offers for the home, you'll often 100% you'll get an offer that is over market value for your home because the buyers are competing with each other. So when we talk, and let me go a little bit further with that, the number of offers is important. If you've got 2 offers on a home, when the agent goes back and asks for the buyer's best and final, and there's 2 offers, the buyers are not really going to do much more to their initial offer price or terms. But if you've got 10 offers on a home, more than likely there's a couple of buyers in those 10 that absolutely have to have that home. So it really becomes a how much we'll pay, we need to get this home, let's drop all our contingencies, let's raise our price, etc., etc. So the number of offers is really important. But this happens across all price ranges, even over $2 million. It happens all the time. We, in this market that we're in, this strong sellers market. So the question goes back to what is the list price and how does that relate to the sale price? If the list price is realistically priced, if you're pricing within the market value range, then often the sales price is going to be over market value. It's not that you priced it too low, it's just that you stimulated competition on the home and the buyers just had to have it and they took it way higher than what the market value is.
Good, keep going. You said better. Second time was better than first time.
Second time.
Well, you talked about it before. Carry on.
Okay.
You're doing okay. I'll step in any minute if you want.
So overpricing. Don't overprice. Don't overprice. As I said before, buyers know the value of your home. A lot of some sellers think that if they overprice or if they come in, they list their home at a higher price, the buyers will just come in and they'll make me a lower offer. Well, they won't, because you've got to actually get the buyers in the door for them to even decide whether they like the home. And most buyers won't even bother going in to see a home that's overpriced. If they do, and your home's been on the market for 3 months in a strong market, they're going to lowball you because they know that you've overpriced the thing. And small reductions in price don't do anything. Large reductions in price will do something if that large reduction has taken the price of the home into its actual market value range. Then the buyers will, oh, yeah, maybe we should go and see this one. Maybe we should go and see this one now. They won't even look at it if it's still overpriced. But here's a key thing. The offers that come in when you overprice will always have an inspection contingency and a mortgage contingency. And you know what? They might even have a home sale contingency. And if you've been on the market for 3 months or 4 months, you're starting to get a little anxious and you might just take a home sale contingency. And that's not a really good place for a seller to be in because the buyer has the upper hand in this situation. It's much better for the seller, which is the seller to have the upper hand rather than the buyer have the upper hand. But here's a couple of examples. Here's one. This was purchased by Rachel Grabowski of our team. She actually got the lowest sale price to list price ratio of any home that was sold in Lexington. This was last year. That was pretty impressive because Lexington, remember we said before, the average sale price to list price ratio was 106%. She bought a home for her buyers at 74%. But have a look at the history of it. The home came on the market for $2,250,000. And about 3 weeks later, a little under 3 weeks, it dropped by $250,000. Didn't do anything. Then, little less than a month later, it dropped $300,000. Now it was starting to be in the ballpark of what its market value range was, and the home went under agreement a week later with an inspection and a mortgage contingency. The inspection found some things wrong with the home, so they negotiated a little bit more off the price as well. This is what happens when a home is overpriced, and this, you can imagine, the buyers are feeling pretty good about it. The sellers aren't feeling very good about this in this instance. Here's another one. I went in and did a market analysis on a home. My market analysis was 1.8 to 1.850. About 10 days after my market analysis, they came on the market for $2,095,000. This is an example of where an agent buys a listing. It's an industry term where an agent has gone in and promised way over what the market value of the home is because they want the sign out the front. You know, the longer a sign's out the front, it's advertising the agent, not necessarily the home, all of this sort of stuff. Anyway, it came on the market at $2,095,000. Now, 2 months later, it had a $200,000 price drop. Nothing happened. 4 months later, actually that's 3 months later, it had another $25,000 price drop. Nothing. They then came off the market the beginning of December, came on the market. Remember, we were saying that the earlier you can come on the market in the year is the best time because that's when all the buyers are out and there's not many homes on the market. So they came on the market at 1,788. Remember, my market value range was 1.8 to 1.850. They came on at 1,788, and 3 months later, they ended up selling or going under agreement for 1.7. The seller who came on the market overpriced ended up losing about $100,000 off the market value of the home because it got stale. The buyers weren't interested in it. You know, there's something wrong with the house. Nobody else is jumping on this. It really creates a huge issue for a home.
And it was about 18 months later as well in this case here. It's not like it was a month or two later. This was 18 months later. So well over 12 months went by before they actually sold their home. So they were in that home 18 months longer than they originally anticipated.
Actually, they moved out. In this particular instance, they moved out and the home was vacant, trying to get a buyer as well. Right. But it was on the market for 330 odd days, not selling. And you can imagine how a seller's feeling when nobody likes my house. Why doesn't anybody like my house? It's a totally different feeling than, oh my gosh, we've got 15 offers on the home. Everyone loves our house. That's a totally different feeling and a different result. Absolutely. Preparation. Let's get into what preparation is all about. Why do we want to do this? So today's buyers want move-in ready. They want to be able to wheel their suitcase in the front door and unpack. They don't want to have to try and figure out, you know, how they're going to get who they're going to call to take the wallpaper down and to paint and to fix the front steps and to do all of those myriad of issues that sometimes a buyer has to take on to buy a home that needs work. The majority of today's buyers don't want to do that. And remember what we're saying about you'll get the highest price for your home with competition. So you want to tailor your home that it will attract as many buyers as possible. So preparation is part of that. First off, we should talk a little bit about downsizing and decluttering.
Perennial question.
Perennial question.
How do I even start?
So you start by, well, let's put it this way. Let's say you're moving out of a larger home into a smaller home. You need to get rid of some furniture. You need to do that. And part of the most streamlined way of doing that, or the most stress-free way of doing that, that's the word I was looking for, is to do that while you're getting ready to come on the market. Because you might be thinking about coming on the market 3 months earlier, 3 months later. So you've got a lot of time to sort of get that stuff organized. Let's say the dining room table. You're planning on moving to a smaller condo. You know that the dining room table and the informal dining table that you've got won't fit in a small condo with just one dining area. So you need to get rid of one of them. Get rid of it before you come on the market, because having the time to do it then versus your home's under agreement, you've got to pack your home and you're moving out, closing's in 5 weeks. Now you've got a really, really short time window that you've got to try and get everything done. So start thinking about those and getting that downsizing activities done early. We can give you advice on where to start and how to start. Sale of furniture. We can give you some resources and some methods and techniques. There's a whole lot of different ways, on consignment sales, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, lots and lots of different places that you can sell furniture. We've tried a lot of it too. Some of them, it's really quite funny.
Downsizing.
Yeah. No, we're not yet.
Okay, that was worth a try, wasn't it? Worth a try.
So part of it, you can donate some of your furniture to family organisations that will take it, and we can give you names of companies that will come and collect the goods from you. And trash. It depends on how much you've got to get rid of as to what options to use, but there's a whole lot of different options. But starting it now, before you're under pressure with a time constraint, that's really important. You don't want to sort of get yourself so worked up. We had a situation a few years back where the sellers were quite elderly and they didn't know what to do. We would go in and give some suggestions on things, and they got themselves so worked up that it caused health problems for them. And we sort of said, maybe you should just sort of take a step back from this. And anyway, the next year they got family in to help them, and family came and helped move them all out. And it was a lot. You just need to sort of take it quietly and don't get yourself too worked up with it.
So are there organisations that can help with this? Clearly we can give advice, but are there, I've heard of the term an organiser.
Yep.
Is that...
There's organisers that can come in and work with you about the furniture and the bits and pieces that you've got in the home. And there's some very good ones around, and they'll help you sort your belongings into the 3 different categories: things that you want to sell, things that you want to give away, and things that really probably need to go in the trash. And they can help you with the disposal of those items as well. There's other companies around that will take care of that as well with an hourly rate. They work on an hourly rate or a package rate, if you like, and you can pick and choose the services that you need. Right. So it's
living with you, darling, throwing stuff away can be quite difficult. And that's true for everybody, as we see. And so getting somebody to kind of help you with that whole process, see, I had to get that in. It's where the organisers come in. And I think to be serious for a second, it is a tough thing to do. We've seen it time and time again. What do I sell? Can I sell everything? What do I? And having somebody who's to navigate that process.
And is there value in this?
Is there value in it? You may think there's value in it, and maybe in some cases there is. In some cases not so. And so having a professional help you navigate that, I think it's an important first step if you're struggling to kind of work out what's for sale, what's to donate, and what's to actually put in the trash.
Very, very much so. There's a whole lot of different options.
Right.
We could tell a story after story, we need to
Don't.
keep going.
Preparation.
We can tell you story after story.
Preparation. No one answer fits all.
No one answer fits all because every house is different. But one of the things that we always sort of say is don't do renovations. Unless you're planning on being in the home for at least 2 years and you can enjoy the renovations. It's not necessary. We'll give you the advice on the highest ROI tasks and what order to do them in as well. And sometimes we go in and a seller is thinking of, they'll start sort of saying, well, I'm going to do X and Y and Z. And we say, actually, no, I wouldn't do X and Y, do Z, because X and Y won't increase the value of, or it won't increase the sale price of your home any more than...
in the eyes of a buyer, because ultimately that's what matters. Right?
They're not interested in infrastructure upgrades or things like this. Cosmetics, paint. Paint gives you a huge return on investment. Huge return on investment. So services that we provide in our team, it's all part of the normal fee. We can provide you contractor resources, the names of people to call that are responsive and well priced and things like this. But we can also assist you getting quotes for the work to be done. We can help coordinate the contractors as well. And help oversee the project in conjunction with the seller. And this is, this is a service that we do. Sellers can be out of state, and we'll just get busy on getting all of these things done for the sellers. Or because you decide the level of assistance you like. Now, we've coined a phrase. Some sellers like to be interested observers. We were doing this with a home a couple of years ago, and the seller just sort of said to me, I just want to be an interested observer. I don't want to do anything. I want you to do it all, and I'm just going to watch and pay, but watch. That's what they did. And we did. And this was a home over $2 million, and we got competing offers for the home because we prepped the home for him. So it's really important. And it's stress-free. We try and make it as stress-free as possible. Some things that will get a good return on investment, things like decluttering, advanced packing. You're going to be packing it anyway when you leave. Why not pack it before your home comes on the market and get it away in boxes and either stacked up nicely down in the basement or in the garage or something? Just advanced packing. Touch-up paint on walls and trim, shampooing carpets. And now that touch-up paint can be touch-up on some walls, but maybe painting other rooms, like removing wallpaper. Shampooing carpets. Landscaping. We don't typically suggest that you have to do too much with landscaping. Sometimes just even a little bit of mulch works wonders. Minor repairs. If something's obviously broken, yes, because if a buyer sees something obviously broken, they start wondering, they haven't fixed that. What else is going on in this house that they haven't fixed? And it starts putting a sort of a real concern on them. Some of the things that you can do as well is paint over dated bathroom tiles. That's huge. Painting kitchen cabinetry. If it's old, you don't need to replace appliances and put new countertops on or anything like that. Sometimes just paint does a huge amount. Sometimes if you've moved out and you've got carpets that are really old and stained and things, and they're over hardwood floors, we just take them up and refinish the floors. That makes a huge difference. But again, our recommendations are specific to each home. So we can, as to what gets you the highest ROI, and we can help with that. So several options are available. Do nothing. Buyers and developers compete for homes. There's been a couple of instances lately where the developers are having to pay huge amounts over the asking price to beat out the buyers. do minor cleanup and cosmetic improvements. This helps the buyers who want move-in ready. If you're going to do updates, then do them wisely, and it depends on the time frame for your moving. We thought we'd give you some before and after photos to show the different things that you can do. Here's one where the wood trim around a room, around windows, this sort of dates a home. And here you can see we haven't done anything with the carpets or anything, we just painted the wood trim. It freshens the home. Here's another one with wallpaper removal. The buyers don't like wallpaper, and they inflate the cost of taking the wallpaper down and painting it by a huge degree. So just take the wallpaper down and just paint it a neutral shade. I love going in and helping people work out the colors on the homes, because you've just got to do them in neutral. But you can see the difference that taking the wallpaper off the walls does. Here's another one with taking the wallpaper off the walls and just painting it a fresh color. Nothing else. I mean, we didn't change the light fixture or anything, just took the wallpaper down and painted. Here's one where this was a home that had been a rental for a while, and when we walked in to see the home, this is where the seller wanted us to take care of everything. This is how we saw it. The carpet was in rough shape. So by the time we painted it and we removed the carpet and put planks down, or actually that was sheet vinyl, sorry. It was a dramatically different house. Here's one with wallpaper on the walls, but look, the table. The table was built for this space. We just painted the table. It felt fresh, whereas if a buyer walks in to a view like this, they just imagine that it's going to cost them an awful lot of money before they can really move in. And another example here is painting over bathroom tiles. We all see these older bathroom tiles in homes. That dates a home, but you can paint over tiles. Benjamin Moore sell a product that's a bonding primer that goes on glossy surfaces first, and then you can just paint over it. Well, here's the bathroom tiles painted, and here's the wallpaper taken down. All of the fixtures were the old fixtures, the same old fixtures, but the difference is when a buyer's looking in the bathroom door and seeing the older tiles and the wallpaper, they're imagining, oh, I've got to renovate this bathroom. That's going to cost me $20,000. I can't, I have to reduce the price I'm willing to pay by $20,000 because I've got to do the bathroom. Yet when they look in the door of the bathroom that has just got fresh paint on it, oh yeah, they're older fixtures, but yeah, we can live with this. We can upgrade, we can renovate the bathroom in a few years' time. It's changed the dynamic of how they view the home. Here's another one where you've got the tiles, they're painted. Here's the laminate kitchen bathroom cabinetry. That paints up beautifully as well, as you can see in this after, along with the tiles. Here's another one where the laminate was that swirly patterned laminate, dating the bathroom. Same with the tiles. Well, paint just makes the bathroom feel fresh and easy. Here's one where the seller was planning on staying in the home for another couple of years. So we came in and recommended some things that they could do that would help the home sell when it was time to come on the market. And they did that, and then 2 or 3 years later, they sold the house and it had competing offers for the home. Just, do those renovations if you're going to stay in the home, but don't do them if you're just doing it for sale. Here's an example where paint in the kitchen cabinets. This wood kitchen, it was on the market for 103 days with another agent, unsold. We came in and just sort of said, look, we really should just paint your cabinets. This is that same kitchen with painted cabinets, and we just switched out 2 appliances, and we had competing offers on the home and sold it for way over asking. It had been on the market for 103 days, not selling. Painting the kitchen cabinets made all the difference, huge difference. Here's another one where we painted the kitchen cabinets, and we also painted the wainscoting around the room and the wood trim and the wood doors. We left everything else in the kitchen as it was, with the bright blue laminate countertops. The appliances were all original, competing offers with the home. But it felt a lot fresher this way. Here's another one. Same kitchen cabinets. We did replace the countertops in this one. And we did replace a couple of appliances because this home was in a prime location, and by spending just a little bit more money, we could capitalize on the location far better than we could have if we left the different countertops and different appliances in there. We sold it for way over asking, and that makes a huge difference. Again, another one. Kitchen. I keep saying this again. Here's the kitchen cabinets, older oak cabinets. Here they are painted. Didn't touch the appliances. Another one, painting the kitchen cabinets and painting the wall. Didn't do anything else. Actually, in this one, 2 agents had said the home was a tear down, and the builders were making low offers on the home. We sort of figured that it had really good bones. If we just went in there and painted, did some minor landscaping, we could sell it for a lot more than the builders were offering, and the sellers were really happy because we had lots and lots of offers on the home, and it really, the small investment that they made in paint and minor landscaping made a huge difference. Because here's that same house. This was when the builders, when agents were telling the seller it was a tear down. Actually, it wasn't, because just a little bit of work and a little bit of money spent netted them so much more than they would have gotten if they had have sold to a builder. It just depends on the home. Every home is different. Here's one where we did ask the seller to do a little bit more with the landscaping, because inside the home it was very dark and gloomy, and the trees had overgrown. You can't even see on the side here that there's a side entrance. We took the trees down, planted some smaller plants, and you can see there's a side entrance. This was, it just appeals to the buyers so much more. Here's an example. This home had been on the market as a for sale by owner. Then it was on the market for over a year with another agent, and then it was a for sale by owner again, and then they listed with us. And when they listed with us, we asked them to take the 2 plants down, and we got them. We didn't do any painting inside, I don't believe. We did stage the home, but we got them to paint the trim and the front door and the garage doors, because it's also, you've got to appeal to the buyers when they're searching online. And when they're searching online, that curb appeal makes a difference. And in the before, it didn't grab anyone. In the after, where you had the white trim and white garage doors and white front door, we had competing offers and sold it for way over asking. I'm probably boring people with those. Would you like to talk about staging?
No, I'll do marketing.
Okay, so staging. It's really important to wow the buyers when they walk in the door. When you can wow them when they walk in the door, they will pay whatever they need to pay to buy the home. Here's an example. This was when we first walked into the home. This was the before. Then with paint, fantastic. It looks better than it did before. But here's the difference when you stage it. The staging makes the home feel good. Now we do staging. We should mention the staging. Staging is complementary. We stage every home that we come into, whether your home is furnished already, you're living in it, we'll bring in accent pieces and things like this, or if the home's vacant, we bring in a house full of furniture. So because the house will sell for more money when a buyer walks in the door and thinks, wow, you know, the before of the paint, yeah, it's a lot better than the before with no paint, but the after makes the difference. And we get a higher price. Here's a bedroom, carpets, walls needed painting. There's the after, looks a lot better, but there's the staged photo. That's what, when the buyers walk in, wow, I could really like, I'd like to live here. That when the buyers walk in and say that or think that, we've gotten a higher price for the sellers. It's staging, it creates an emotional response from the buyers, which is critical to getting the highest price. Other agents charge for the service, or the seller pays the staging company directly. As I mentioned before, it's included as part of the services, of our services for our sellers, because it gets a higher price for our sellers, and sellers tell other people that they know that, you know, you need to use these people, and that absolutely is well worth the effort of our staging. You know, well worth the effort. We have our own staging team, a truck, lots and lots of furniture. So we do this for a reason. But it's 83% of buyers agents said a staged home helped buyers visualize the property as a future home. 25% of buyers agents said they increased their offer between 1% and 5% on a staged home. That, if you're talking about a town that has $1 million average sale price, increasing it by 5% by staging it, that's huge. And 85% of homes surveyed were sold for 6 to 25% more than homes that were not staged. Now, all of these are statistics from the National Association of Realtors and Certified Professional Home Stagers organizations. So, you know, it's key. It's occupied homes are the norm, and vacant homes, we do both of those. It begins with a pre-staging visit. We send a summary of recommendations within 24 hours to our sellers, and it can range from suggestions of furniture placement, storage, supplemental furniture, fully staging. Here's some examples. Here's a photo of a room, and if you look at that and that was on MLS, the buyer would be thinking, I don't know what this is. Right. I don't know what room this is. Yet with dining room furniture in the room, they sort of say, oh, yeah, it's a dining room. Okay. Or another home here, you can tell by this vacant, you know, no furniture image, this is probably a nice house. Well, yes, it's a nice house, and it's showing it smartened and appealing with furniture in it. And the buyer is going to come and look at the home with furniture in it. Seeing the photo of the one with furniture in it is going to make them think, oh, I need to go and see this home. I need to, and I bet this is expensive, but it looks really, really good, rather than the one where it's vacant and there's no furniture in it. Here's another one. This was one of the photos that I showed you before, and here it is with furniture in it. It's a wow. But it's even the new construction homes. This is a new construction home that was still being built, just about finished. Here is the same room with furniture in it. It makes a difference. It makes the buyers I need to go and see this. This is impressive. I don't know whether you recall the home that we talked about before that was the for sale by owner. Then it was on the market for a year with another agent. Then it was a for sale by owner again. This was one of the listing photos by one of the agents, the agent that had it on the market. But as you can see here, well, you've got your living room in the front here, and you've got a dining room there. You can see the chandelier. And you've got a room here. What is that? So even if a buyer came to see it, they're not going to know what those 3 rooms are really for. How do I use those 3 rooms? I don't really understand that. Well, with furniture, you can help a buyer imagine how they would use this home. So the front room we staged as a living room because the front door was up that direction. This second room was the dining room. We staged it as dining room. And this room at the end here, we staged it as a pre or post dinner drinks room, where you just sort of sit down casually and just chat, with a drink and things. And the buyers could visualize how they would use that room and took away all of their negative connotations of how would I make this home work for me? Here's another one. The room had been beautifully painted, white trim, everything like this, nice fixtures. It's nice, but why did that disappear so quickly?
Jump twist, forward twist.
Oh, I'm sorry. There, that shows that it's with furniture in it, looks dramatically different. And here's a staging a home where the furniture, where the seller was still living in the home. This was one of the originals. And here it is. You can see the 2 chairs. They're hidden behind there. And we came in with some other furniture. The seller was moving some of the things out, but we use your furniture as well. Here's a home. This was one of the marketing photos by another agent. It was on the market for 3 months, not selling. And here we came in and supplemented their furniture. So you can still see this piece at the end here. You can still see the sofa and the armchair. We just supplement the furniture when someone's living in the home. Marketing. I need a drink. I think this is you.
Me?
This is you.
Marketing.
This is you.
4th out of 5th, as it were. 4th out of 5. So let's talk a little bit about marketing and what does that mean? And actually, does it really matter? We're in a very strong seller's market in many, many towns. So the question really is, does it matter? Well, it does at the end of the day. No surprising, marketing matters. Clearly it does. But it's really a change that we've seen because of COVID. If you think back, 2 years ago, what many people would do is, yes, they would look at the marketing of the home, but they really made the choice to go and look at the open house. So we would get 150 people through an open houses of a weekend. That changed with COVID, and that's continued. And what happened was that many buyers, instead of just going to the open house to have a look, started to pay close attention to what they could see online. Be it the photographs, be it the videos, the 3D tour, whatever was online. That's what they first looked at and paid very close attention to that. And having paid close attention, based on that, they would make the decision whether or not to go and essentially view the home privately. This was when there were no open houses. Now, that mechanism, that methodology that buyers were using has continued. And so we're seeing large numbers of buyers looking at all of the 3D the digital components of the marketing, and based on that, then they're making a private showing. Back to we used the house with the 49 offers. There were 150 private showings. 150 private showings. 150 private showings.
We had a house in Lexington last year that had 148 private showings, but she beat us. She beat us by 2.
There you go. So, and the buyers have made the decision to make that, to go and look at those that home, based on what they've seen online. And what we found is there really is a direct correlation between the number of views of the digital media and the private showings. If you get 40 plus views, for example, of the 3D tour in the first 2 days, typically that results in 20 plus private showings in that first weekend.
And we should point out that the sellers can see that real time. You can see, you know, the first few hours of a day, there's 12 views of it. And then an hour later, there's 18 views of it, things where the seller can real time see what response the home is having to the market, what the market is, you know, how the market is responding to their home and the pricing.
Right. And so, unsurprisingly, you will not be surprised to learn that there's a direct correlation between the number of private showings, private viewings of the home, and the number of offers that you get. So if you get 20 plus private showings in that first weekend, usually results in 2 or more offers on the Tuesday, as Danny mentioned before. We set that deadline on Tuesday. So direct correlation between the views of the digital asset and the number of offers that you get on the home. And the key thing there, of course, is the quality of those videos, 3D tours, both the quality and having all of those components in. And so I want to kind of show you some of those instead of just talking about them, but in a moment. First, Danny mentioned before the listing dashboard. Here's what it looks like. The view there shows, for example, when the home's on the market, it'll show you how many views of the 3D tour by day. So this one, 14, 10, 20, and so on. How many views of that 3D tour were we getting? And it's based on that we can make a correlation in terms of how many private showings we can anticipate, and therefore how many offers we can anticipate on the deadline. There's a lot of components to marketing. Photographs, videos, 3D tours, floor plans, websites, and so on. There's a lot of components to that, and it's key to have all of those components. The days of just being able to put a home on the multiple listing service with 25 or 10, 6 sometimes, photographs that were taken with an iPhone, not very good, those days are over. That the buyers are looking at the photography, for example, their first view of the home, and based on that they're deciding, yes, I'm interested, no, I'm not. Now, you clearly have to have the preparation and the staging in place as well. The marketing just showcases the work that's been done in both of those phases too. So that's really what we're about. So let me give you some examples of what we mean or why it's important. This is not our photographs here, should add, but this is actually the same room.
The same kitchen.
Yep, same kitchen. In both cases, they've been staged, some differently, but essentially been staged. But look at the quality of that photograph and ask the question, if that's the first view you got of that home, would you be going, yes, I absolutely need to make a private showing? Unlikely with the poor quality on the left, likely with the higher quality on the right. So professional photography really does matter. Here's a few more examples here. This is actually with one of ours. Ours is on the right-hand side. The one on the left, you may not be able to see on the live stream, but actually it's out of focus. It's blurry. It's clearly been poorly staged as well. So remember what I said, you've really got to do that preparation and staging, and the photography is just going to highlight the home, those two aspects of the home. But here we've got an out of focus photograph. No excuse for that, really. Probably taken by hand, usually with an iPhone. So really poor quality. Here's another one. Again,
by the same, yeah.
But the staging, there isn't any, by the way. It just looks a strange kitchen layout, to say the least. But again, it's a poor quality photograph. No attempt here to stage the home, to make it look inviting. Essentially, this photograph was taken probably the first and only time, I dare say, that the agent went to the home. I particularly like, I'm going to highlight this, I particularly like the box of tissues on the table there. Really? So no attempt at all to first of all, make the home appealing to the buyers. And let's face it, buyers have choice. But as well as that, there's been no attempt to create, put a different view on that, a professional photography view on that. Yeah, I guess almost everybody can see that the staging is non-existent, but the photography is really bad in that case. It's blurred.
This next one is the worst.
And that is the most blurry photograph we've seen, I think.
What I struggle with is, how can a seller accept a listing photo that's showcasing their home that is as blurred as that is? I don't know. That to me is just I've got no words. No words.
So, poor photography clearly matters. The next component, and when you think about the way what almost the next thing you look at when you're looking for a major purchase is around video. Video is a very key way that people consume and make buying decisions, because when a consumer buys a house, it's the same as when they're buying a car. And clearly when you go and buy a car, no matter what price the car is, and bear in mind the car can be anything from $20,000, list prices of homes in this part of Massachusetts could be well over $1 million. You get all of the classy photography, you get all the videos, you'll get the 3D tours of the car. So that's a $20,000 purchase. Why do we have something different when it comes to homes? And so video is key. And we have an array of different videos that we put out about a home. We'll have a walkthrough video. Gives you a little bit more of a flavor of the home than the photographs. We put the photographs in the right order. But we can walk you through the home to give you a sense of what that home might look like. Top 5 reasons you love this home. What is it about that home and the environment that home is in that makes this home something that you should make a private showing on? And if it meets your requirements, guess what? That usually means an offer comes out. For some larger homes, what we've also done, even where they've been beautifully staged and photographed, they look a little empty, if you like. And so we want to be able to, in such a larger home, what would it be like to live there? Not what does it look like, but what would it be like to live there? So an imagine living there type video. We've done that for a number of larger homes, brought in some actors, just to give a potential buyer a sense of what would living in this home be like. Works very well for much larger homes, that one. So that's key. So video, number of different types of videos is really, really important to today's consumers. The next one I want to show is the 3D tour. And instead of actually showing the static image and talking about it, why don't we show you what it really looks like? Actually, it's this one as well. It's 40 Winthrop. So let me put this in full screen mode so we can, there we go. So if you think about the photographs, we create them, we create the different views of the photograph. The video itself, we're the director, if you like. We will walk you through as we anticipate you would, walk through the home in a logical order, but we're really in control. So let's put the consumer in control, shall we? Let's create a product that allows the consumer to be able to spend as long as they want in the home, look at anywhere they want in the home, at whatever time of day they want to do. Yeah. And really that's what the 3D tour does.
If you can imagine, when a buyer comes to see a home, and in this strong seller's market that we're in now, we come on the market on a Thursday and we review offers on a Tuesday. The buyer might come in to see the home during a private showing on, say, the Friday or the Saturday, and they go home at night. They're worried because they know that if they love the home, they have to make an offer on the Tuesday, and there were so many people seeing it. Well, was there a linen closet in the hall? Was there a linen closet in the hall? Was there a dishwasher in the kitchen? They can walk around the home as if they're in the home at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because they're having a sleepless night, they can't right. decide whether they're going to make an offer or not. Let me walk around the home.
The beauty of this as well is it's like your very own private showing or private open house. There's nobody else there. So you can spend as long as you want. I mean, even in a private showing, you might have a relatively restricted amount of time. And if you go to an open house and you're going to be with other people, a little bit, you know, it's just not a nice environment. And so this 3D tour really does let you. It's as if you're there. And you can actually put 3D goggles and do it that way if you so desire. But it's as if you're in the home, and that's a key aspect of it.
Because the visceral feel when someone walks in the door of a home, and there's not the difference between private showings these days and open houses is really quite dramatic, because the buyers are now used to, as Marcus was saying before, the buyers are now used to private showings, and there is a difference when a buyer has their first view of a home via a private showing versus if they go to an open house. Because if you can imagine, when they go to an open house, first time they're seeing the place, and they're walking in the front door and they're trying to figure out where to put their shoes because they're trying not to trip over the other shoes around them. And then, especially in COVID, there's someone over there and they're trying to sort of avoid that person and trying to sort of head over in this direction, and they're conscious of the people who are around them and staying away from them and things like this. They're not paying attention to the house. They're not getting a good feel about the house because their attention is being taken up by other things extraneous to the house. Whereas when it's a private showing, they're walking in and they're with their agent and they're wandering around and they're feeling good about the place. We are finding that we're getting higher prices for homes when the buyers see the home first via a private showing. Dramatically different. So, and there are various techniques that we use to make that happen. And it makes a huge difference. So this is as if they're in the home by themselves again. They're spending the time in there.
Absolutely key. You can do a number of things with this. You can look at a floor plan view with the furniture in it, as it turns out. You know, that's really important.
It gives you perspective.
Right. Gives you a view. I'm just going to turn all of the floors on here.
Yep, this is the dollhouse view. This is awesome. If you want to know what room is over what room or what's over, you know, it gives you a good understanding of if you wanted to put a full bathroom in.
Right. Often you'll put a bathroom over or underneath an existing bathroom. Over you normally. This will give you a sense of where you can actually do that. And so it's a different perspective, a perspective that you wouldn't ordinarily get. And so it's kind of a different way to view it. The floor plan, I think, is really powerful in that it allows you to see the furniture within the home, and therefore you can get a sense of that. The schematic floor plans we also have too, that most people are used to, but this shows it what it looks like with the furniture to give it some scale.
Yeah, to give it some scale. I mean, you look at the master bedroom in that one. There's a huge amount of space around, and that's a king-size bed. That's a huge master bedroom just by looking at the furniture in it and just what's around it. It's very much a tool that you can use,
So, you know, having got the great photography, video, 3D tour, we actually also put the brochure, which we would ordinarily have in the house. We actually have that online as well. You kind of want to wrap that whole thing up in a single place to get all of that information. And that, no surprise, is a website. And so every home that we list has their own website. This was 40 Winthrop.
If you want to go and have a look at it, to 40winthrop.com.
Right, that will show you, and you'll see lots of photographs, description, narrative, a combination of photographs and narrative that allows you to walk through the home and get a sense of what that home is like. The 3D tour is on there too. This is the website for that. I think above here was there, for example, is the home highlights. There's that video I talked about. There's the property brochure. You can you get all of that there. You can print it out if you want to in that. Floor plan. And then situating the home, where is the home situated in terms of the schools, public transport, and so on. So all of that is on the website, and that's hugely important. That single point where they can find everything around that home is really important for today's consumers. So let me jump back to the PowerPoint. There we go. Yeah, so there's our website. So now we've got kind of everything in place. We've got a website with all of this information on it. Now, how do we get that out in front of the largest number of consumers who are potentially interested in that home? Well, we have two strategies to do that. The first strategy is around social media. It's about a broad strategy, taking the home, photography, video, 3D tour, putting it on social media, kind of showcasing the home, giving, of course, a link through to, no surprise, the website that's there. Key thing about social media, it really only works if you've got high quality marketing. If you put a blurry photograph on there, it's going to zip past and people are just not going to take any notice. So in order for any of this to work, really, you need that high quality marketing. So social media is our broad strategy to get it out in front of a large number of potential buyers. Having done that, the next one, of course, is to start targeting, really targeting what we know as potential buyers. Perhaps people who've come to open houses, people who've interacted with us, looked at, been on our website and interacted and said, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in this town is really what I'm interested in. Hey, guess what? This week we've got a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom home in that town on the market. And we're really looking to send out that all important coming soon to get some excitement early in the week when we bring it on the market, just to get that kind of buzz about it. Hey, this is coming on the market. Okay, if you're not interested, maybe somebody is interested. So kind of get the buzz around the home, and then of course just list it and so on. So there's two strategies to that. It's really about that broad social media strategy for breadth, as well as then the targeted marketing. In addition to which, of course, the home, as with every home that's on the market, goes on multiple listing services and then gets kind of spread to the Trulias and the Zillows and the Redfins and all of those websites. So it's clearly on that as well. This is layering on top of that. And so it's really important that, marketing matters. This is the key message that we really want to bring over here. It's key to getting the highest price. And unsurprisingly, in the short amount of time. That is, hopefully we bring it on the market on Thursday. We'll get competing offers on a Tuesday. And because there's been some competition, because we've got lots of private showings, that will kind of drive the price up. So good marketing matters no matter what market you're in. Doesn't matter if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market or a balanced market. Good marketing matters. Because that's what gets you the highest price in the minimum amount of time. That's key, right? That is absolutely key.
And what we're starting to see at the moment is that there are some agents around promising that don't worry about it. You don't need to come on the market. We'll sell it. We'll sell the home in-house. And unfortunately, there are some sellers that are not understanding that that's not the best way of selling your home, and that's not going to get you the highest price for the home. And this is part of why we do the educate, not sell.
Right. And the reason for that is this is not exposing it to the largest number of buyers. At the end of the day, you're not going to get 15 offers on a home if only 3 people saw the home. Yeah. That's the key.
It's like basic ratios. If we say that 10% of the buyers are going to fall in love with your home, if you've had 10 people in to see your home, maybe that's one buyer that's going to fall in love with your home. If you've had 100 buyers in, even with the same basic ratios, you've got 10 people who are falling in love with your home. It's all about getting the buyers in to see your home. It's not about, just selling it when nobody else has seen the home. Here's an example of one now. I mean, this was back in 2020. The market was hot.
Came on the market, went out of agreement on same day. And no surprise there. So that's kind of key. And clearly, it's sold for asking price. Okay, great. I mean, the average in many towns is well over 100%. I mentioned Arlington before. The average in 2021, 109. The average was 109. And many homes sold for 120, 30, even 140% over asking, because it was exactly what the buyers wanted. And so to sell at 100% in this very hot market, it's a bit, okay.
It's really sad because there were some sellers there that could have had a really good result, but nobody
Right.
saw their home.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't tell you how many times we call up about a home that's just come on the market, because as agents, we're working with buyers as well. We're working with buyers as well who are looking for homes. And one comes on the market, fantastic. Call up about, oh no, sorry, it's under agreement. It only came on the market an hour ago. That is not the best way of getting the highest price for the home. It's just, it's really sad.
Yeah, so marketing is absolutely key. Getting it out, having that high quality marketing, getting it out in front of the largest number of people. Those are the two keys for getting the maximum price for your home. It's true in marketing of any product, and it's absolutely true of marketing in real estate. High quality, because in many cases you've got an incredible product. You've got, there aren't 4 or 5 good rooms. It's a house. There's a lot to show in any home, really, no matter what the price point. So we've got an incredible product to showcase, and it's really about showcasing that home that gets the maximum amount of activity and get it out in front of the largest number of people. So marketing, really, really important. No question about that.
So what do we mean by excellence through teamwork? What do we mean by excellence through teamwork? So what we mean by excellence through teamwork is that we have specialists working on every aspect of bringing your home on the market. It's not just an agent trying to do everything and doing everything mediocre. It's specialists that know what they're doing for every component of it. The agent is still heavily involved, but we've got a listing manager. We have a closing manager. We have preparation, someone who's focused on preparation, helping coordinate contractors, helping oversee what's going on. We've got a staging team. They, as I sort of said, we have a truck. We have 18 or 19 housefuls of furniture. Every time I buy some furniture, Marcus gets really... It's only 10 housefuls of furniture.
Okay, yes. No, it's not. I was down in our warehouse today. No, it's not.
But we've got every different style of furniture, but that's needed for homes. And we've got a marketing department. So we've got specialists in every area. And this is what we mean by excellence through teamwork. We've got a team working to bring your home on the market the best way and the most efficient way and the best way for you, because you're the center of our universe. Do you like that?
Very good.
Sellers are the center of our universe.
That's why I drew that. That's why I drew that picture. Okay. It's key that the agent is clearly heavily involved in this process.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that we've got this specialist, and the key thing is we've got them in-house. We control this, and we control it for 2 primary reasons. Number one is the quality. If we control it, we can control the quality. The other one, though, is around timing. So just as a simple example, the way we like to stage and do photography and so on about a home is do it in the same day. We like to stage in the morning, and then we'll do the photography, the 3D tour, and the video in the afternoon. The reason we do that is that it's less stress on the seller, because the seller, the home has been beautifully staged. How do I keep it this way for the photography, which is in 3 days' time? Yeah. Difficult to do, especially if you've got young children. It's hard.
And you've got to sleep in the beds.
You've got to put it back the way it was. Yeah. So it's really around the fact that we control this allows us to be able to dictate, essentially, stage in the morning, photography in the afternoon, if a home is occupied.
Video, 3D tours.
In the afternoon. Because it's about reducing the overall stress. That kind of relax, we've got this, that you can't get that with relax, we've got this, but by the way, it needs to look in staged condition for 3 days or over the weekend. because the earliest the photographer can get there is Monday. That doesn't happen because we control all of this. We kind of manage that timing. We know exactly when we're going to stage. We therefore know exactly when the marketing team's going to go in and do their job. And that's key, both in terms of quality and in terms of timing.
And you, the seller, knows exactly when that's going to happen because of the dashboard, because we've communicated those dates and things like that with you. But if you've forgotten, instead of you having to wade through email after email after email trying to find out when did they say they were coming in, it's just a quick look at, oh, okay, yeah, they're coming on Tuesday. It's an easy sort of way of doing that.
Right. So that's why this model is not common. In fact, it's almost unique, we would argue, in that we control all of this. We have as many of these functions as we can in-house, and that's key.
Yep. So now, core values. Let's talk about core values for a minute. Integrity and ethical behavior, everyone says that. We will never breach that. We will never breach that because your reputation is key. You mess up once, it stays with you for the rest of your career. We do the right thing by our clients, period. That's it, period. Education, not selling. We're not hard sell. We're not going to hard sell you. We'll educate you, which is why we do these masterclasses every month.
That's why we're here this evening. Right?
Yeah. An exceptional customer service. Everyone says that, but we think with the model that we have, with having specialists who are focused on our sellers being the center of the universe, we do have exceptional customer service.
We can say that with certainty because we control the customer. We control that service. We tightly control the service that our customers get, and therefore we can say with certainty that it is around exceptional customer service.
But part of the thing about this as well is that you want a professional doing this, not Aunt Mary. We see this all the time. You know, someone's trying to decide between an agent and a friend. A friend is an agent. Well, that friend may only list one house every 3 years. You want a professional who does it day in and day out. You don't want a 3Ps agent. So a 3Ps agent is a term in the industry for someone that puts a home in MLS, there's 1P, puts a home in MLS, puts a sign out front, and then prays. That's not marketing the home. That's not getting you the highest price for the home. That's not making it a stress-free situation. That's fraught with danger. But this is not us just saying this. The NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, commissioned an independent study. Oh yeah, I should just read the slide, shouldn't I? Yeah. Okay, they commissioned.
I did it without reading the slides, I think, but yeah, you could read the slides. That was
they commissioned an independent study as to what are the biggest threats to the real estate industry. What are the biggest threats out there? The number one threat to the real estate industry that this independent commission found, the number one, was masses of marginal agents destroy reputation. The real estate industry is saddled with a large number of part-time, untrained, unethical, and/or incompetent agents. This knowledge gap threatens the credibility of the industry. I just need to point that out. Part-time, untrained, unethical, incompetent. Selling the most expensive asset that you own.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Scary, that.
Yeah.
A little bit scary, that.
Yep. So this is why we just try and educate.
And that's why we say that's why we're here this evening.
Yep. So agents in our team. We have Marcus and myself. We've got Rachel, Corinne, Rachel Grabowski, Wenjan, Kelly Zhu, and Andrew Dixon. So it's a tight-knit team. We have lots of fun, and we're all very, very, very good agents because we train and train and train and train and train and train and train, and so our support folks, we need to change this because we've got someone else starting on Friday.
We do, yes.
Another marketing person.
Yep.
We've got Susan, who's our listing manager. Sherry's our closing manager. Glenn is our marketing manager. soon to have Deanna Chan working with us. She's a local Lexington lady. Staging managers, Christina. I've got a broker assistant, Lisa, and Maria, who is our accountant. So what do you do? We are just about to wrap this up. What do you do? What are your steps to success? So get us into advise 5 years in advance. We bought a home on the market last weekend that I believe it was 6 years ago. I went in to talk to them about colours on the walls of their home on the inside, because they were going to paint inside. They knew that they were going to sell at some point in the future. So they asked what colours they should do. So that was a long time ago. And we sold the home, competing offers. They loved the colours. So plan your move. You know, where are you going? When are you thinking of going? Do you need to sell to buy? That often needs to talk. You need to talk to a mortgage person. The order of buying and selling, it depends on your finances and the market, where you're moving to. But start prepping the home. The sooner you start doing some things to it, the easier the process is, rather than, I want to sell in 2 weeks, I need to get, you know, there's so much to do. It's stressful then. So just quietly plan toward it.
Starting early is the key.
Yeah.
That if there's one piece of advice we can give you, start early.
Yep.
Reach out to us, get some advice, but start that process early, not 3 weeks before you want to come on the market.
No. And information is key. On our website, we have a video series called Selling Essentials. You can go onto the page, the main page, and scroll down. There's video library, and then one of them in there is the Selling Essentials video series. It's about 100 or more videos on different topics related to selling your home, and you'll find something in there, and we're adding to it all the time. But get us in for a no obligation market analysis. Just because you want to know how much your house is worth doesn't mean that we're going to assume that you want to sell this year. We just fill you in on how much your home is worth, and then if you're thinking about selling next year, we'll update it next year. But happy to do that. Happy to do that. And the excellence through teamwork, partnering with you. You can reach out to anyone in the team and they'll help. I reversed the order of this slide. This is meant to be the other one. This is meant to be before the other one. Anyway, our aim is to provide exceptional customer service, communications.
Glad you said you did
both
that,
ways.
I know I didn't do it. I thought I was going to get the blame for that one.
Actually, I think you did.
Yeah, I probably did. Yes, yeah, undoubtedly. You moved that slide, Marcus. Yes, okay, Danny. Yes, whatever.
But the whole thing that we sort of want to push is relax. We've got this. We can help. You just need to get us in, and we'll help. And there's no pressure. There's no pressure because it's education, not selling, not sales. We're not. Yep, that's not who we do.
That's the key.
And why do we do this? I mean, why, apart from this education, it's because we think that our client deserves to be the smartest person at the closing table. We're really happy when you're the smartest one there, and that we all benefit by becoming smarter about home buying and selling. Because, as we mentioned before, a person's home is typically the most expensive asset that they own, and you don't want to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars by not knowing how and you know what to do about maximizing that profit that you get. So anyway,
thank you.
It's nearly time for dinner. I'm smelling stuff cooking up there.
Wrap this one up.
So look, thank you for joining us, and sorry we sort of rambled on for a bit, and if you need any help, then please just reach out. Right. We'd love to talk.
Absolutely.
Because as you can tell, we like talking about real estate.
There you go. Right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.